the What Matters Award has a highly commended that the judges felt that one of the stories given by one of the people using this service really summed up their decision to give a highly commended to this team. Bob said, "I immediately felt that I could talk to Glenda about what mattered to me. She'd always ask what I wanted to happen and what my concerns were. I was struggling with my mobility, motivation, medications, and obviously my grief following the loss of my wife. Glenda looked at everything, how I was feeling, how I was managing. She spoke to my specialist nurse and consultant and addressed my concerns regarding my medications. My children met Glenda at my house several times and had long conversations about their concerns. With the frailty team, you ask and you get, Glenda and I talked to just one another. Before I met the frailty team, I was living just. Now, although I will always miss my wife, I want to do things. I feel more like myself." For the judges, this and the other information that was showed that this team, and in particular Glenda, showed an impressive range of skills and demonstrated all of the personalised approaches that are available in the model of personalised care. And the What Matters highly commended goes to Glenda Gill and the frailty team at Aspen Medical Centre.
What a privilege. That's the first thing I'm going to say. I feel completely humbled, as I always do, when I listen to those stories, and it's the thing that kind of hits me right here. It hits me in my heart, it hits me in my tummy. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, because that's what tonight is, just a celebration of a small amount of things that are going on in our region. So thank you, Francis. I was really touched to be asked to judge this award, because it felt really special, actually. And we had a really tough decision to make. I have to say, it was not easy at all. So this is the nomination. When our judges look at awards, they look for two main things. The way in which a team works, is it personalised, as well as does it link to the National Personalised Care Model? The other is the way teams are spoken about, how they impact people, and often this comes through in people's words about how teams make them feel. The last award of the evening is summed up by both of these being present in every aspect of the nomination. Here is what one of the managers that nominated this team said. "Unfortunately, words don't seem enough to try and showcase how wonderful our Flown team are, how much they have meant to those who've supported and continue to support. They supported them to transform their lives and to be able to access the support they need, and how inspiring the work they do really is to all of us. We would love our Flow team to be considered for this award, to recognise the amazing work that they do each and every day. Engagement starts with building a trusted relationship between the caseworker and the person requiring support, and recognition that this takes time. We meet the person where they are. This sometimes means the initial meet, maybe a picnic on the beach or a walk in the park, whatever suits the person. We support the person by asking what matters to you, and any future support is based around this. The judges said, this team is obviously delivering the real meaning of personalised care and doing so in the most effective and efficient way, putting the person at the centre of everything they deliver. This is truly personalised care in practice. So, the winner of the What Matter Awards is the caseworkers and coordinators in Compass South West and One Northern Devon.
I would like to say a few things, a few thoughts and reflections. While I'm standing there looking across at the pull-up poster of one of last year's winners, Nat, and her quote of, "When you stop seeing the problem and really see the person, that's when a great journey can really begin." And for me, personalised care and helping to ensure that everyone, everywhere, in the whole of the Southwest, from the Isles of Scilly right up to the top of Gloucestershire, right across to Swindon and down to the Dorset coast and right the way back round again, and everyone in between, that everyone everywhere can get personalised care. It feels like we're on quite a journey to get there. And it's actually these stories that we've heard tonight of how it's being put into practice in so many different and creative ways are the things that is the most inspirational, most rewarding, most effective way of learning about how we can do things differently. I do want to reflect a little on that idea of a journey and recognising what a journey this is. Making sure personalised care is available for everyone everywhere, that people are always routinely asked what matters to you, that any decision about somebody's care is involving shared decision making, that people have one personalised care and support them that reflects what they really want, that plan is based on what matters to them, not just what's the matter with them, that we use a broader range of community support options, including social prescribing, peer support, and a range of other approaches rooted in the community, and that kind of flexible choice and creativity for practitioners and people working together is enabled by freeing up the funding so that people can have personal health budgets or integrated budgets to support doing something different and something creative. When that is routine, when that is what everyone, everywhere can expect and will receive, that's when we'll have got to the end of our journey. That's when we'll have got to the point where we can say, we have done this, personalised care is now the way things are done around here. That won't be the end of learning, because we'll always be learning from one another, particularly if we keep doing things like this, which is sharing stories of how we do it and what a difference it makes with one another. What we are describing with this change is a large-scale change programme piece of work. There is umpteen studies nationally and internationally which shows that this kind of large-scale change doesn't happen in the neat and tidy programme life of usual NHS-funded pieces of work. In fact, large-scale change that becomes so endemic that you really have to work blooming hard to undo it takes on average 17 years. I can remember in January 2015 doing the very first workshop we did when we were a demonstrator site around, okay, now we're a demonstrator site for integrated personalised commissioning as it was then, how the heck are we going to do this then, folks? Over in the gatehouse over there 9 years ago almost. And there were people who came along to that, including I can see Emma and Juliet at the back, and there's others here who from a range of places across the region would have been involved in pieces of work like the Integration Pioneers work, like the SEND work for children and young people, like some of the work around end of life. I could keep going on, that actually informed the work that we were starting to pick up in that demonstrator piece of work 9 years ago. This is a long journey. And on very long journeys, a bit like, so I'm told, marathon races, you won't be surprised looking at me to know that I do not run marathons. But the middle bits are the really hard yards to run. And we are there, And if in any large-scale change piece of work, those middle sections of a change piece are the hardest to keep going. And we're having to keep going at an unprecedented time of challenge for our health and care services at the same time as our population is ageing and that we've got the highest level of health inequalities that we've seen since the Second World War. And I believe we can do it. In fact, I know we can, and I know we can because you're in this room and you're down the line listening to this. Of the 103 nominations that we had this year and we were so thrilled to receive and read, it's like getting a vitamin boost shot in your arm reading those nominations and seeing the incredible work that people are doing day in, day out, and retaining their humanity and their humour and their creativity and their passion for helping people in their local community lead the best lives that they can, the care and compassion. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary under any circumstances. That we see it now is one of the most humbling things. And I'm sure I can see people nodding. Yeah, it is, isn't it? When you go to work and you come across something that somebody's done and you just think, wow, that's great. And you think, that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm going to keep going. And that's why we are going to achieve this. Because there's something about being that extended team, supporting one another, being part of a passionate community of people who believe that this is the way we want to work. This is the way we want our loved ones to be supported. This is the way I want my health care and support to be. So I'm going to work my socks off to make sure that that's what it's like for everybody else. That's the spirit that I read in all of those nominations, and that I've seen from the people in this room, and that I saw from the people who last year won and had their films captured. And the more that we can do to build those sharing and learning networks where we can contact with one another. I know I quoted last year, and I'm going to quote it again this year. My dear colleague, Liz, who's now retired, when I first met her back 10 years ago now, when we were first writing an application to be a demonstrator, said to me, Frances, the best heists are done by people in gangs. We need to find the other people who are in our gang. And I think our gang is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think we're going to pull it off. I think we are going to make health and care of the future focus on people's well-being, focus on people, focus on the human in us. And that is, at the end of the day, what is going to be the salvation of our health and care system. And there's an awful lot of pressure this winter in all sorts of ways. But there's also a huge amount of pleasure to be had, a lot of praise to be given because of the passionate people that are making a difference. It's great to share an evening with some of you tonight. Thank you so much for coming and for listening in online. Thank you for what you do. Personalised care is not just for Christmas, despite we've got these great trees here. And I'm thrilled that we've been able to make the Personalised Care Awards in the South West an annual fixture. We will be holding them again next year. We've had the support of our board to say that that will definitely happen. And we'll be working with those of you who've won to capture your stories and capture the learning over the course of the next year so that we can keep sharing and building that momentum, that snowball effect. I don't know if we're still going to get snowballs with climate change. My children are very bitter that we don't seem to see the snow. But I think we can have that effect, that momentum, by continuing to work together and to do the things like we've heard tonight. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's such a joy to be here with you. I hope that you've had a really lovely evening. I hope you feel the pride that I know everyone that I work with feels towards the personalised care work that's been achieved across the South West region in every single system, in every single neighbourhood. thank you. And I'd just like to finally, before we wrap up the evening, though I hope many of you, if you can stay and have a drink and a chat, to invite the chair of our board, Liz Davenport, just to give some closing remarks. But thank you all.
Well, as Frances has said, I've got a real passion for personalised care. I've worked in the NHS for over 40 years, and I know that's not always been part of our history. So it was a real privilege for me to be asked to chair the Enabling Board. And it was a real privilege because I came across leaders, both in terms of the NHS leadership team in the region and the individuals on the board, who are absolutely passionate about personalised care, and I think you've heard some of that today. They really wanted to create the conditions, the tools, the techniques, the visibility of what personalised care can be, that enabled us to hear some of those really powerful stories today. They have successfully created the conditions for personalised care to be the reality for so many people who require care in our system. So I'd like you to stand up today and to show your appreciation for the leaders in this room today who helped create the conditions for success, not just for now, but for our future and the future beyond that. Thank you.